Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of The Legal Anchor. Today we're here on the Palisadoes. We will be seeing that they are regenerating the Palisadoes with the establishment of a mangrove. So what does this mangrove really do? Today we're going to be talking to persons and finding out exactly what is a mangrove, why is it needed, why is one being grown right here in the Kingston Harbour? What does it mean to Jamaica and to our waters to have it? NEPA will be here setting up. We will also be seeing the Minister Pernell Charles will be here to also do part of the digging, of planting, I should say, a mangrove, or planting a plant, one of the plants for the mangrove. So just join us on the other side where you will be learning more today about the mangroves, why they're important, both ecologically and legally, the reason to protect them. So, here, Palisadoes, enjoy, look forward to seeing you. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel.
Morning, we're here at the Palisadoes Strip and we're here with Miss Monique Curtis. She's a member of NEPA, which means National Environment and Planning Agency. And we're here to participate or to document the eco-restoration activities that they have taken place, and this is in honor of World Environment Day, which is this Saturday. And Miss Monique Curtis, she's here to talk to us a little bit about the initiative that NEPA is a part of. So can you tell us a little bit more about it, please?
Right, so today we're having actually a symbolic launch of a wider restoration program that we're implementing, and it's a series of things that we're doing in collaboration with the University of the West Indies Center of Marine Sciences. So we had done a previous restoration project with them in Falmouth, and the maintenance of that is still ongoing. And today we're launching another project within the Palisadoes Port Royal Protected Area and Ramsar site. So we're working on the inner harbor sites of the Palisadoes Strip, where we're actually going to do planting out of mangrove saplings and then maintenance of those over a series of years. So the importance of that is really to help with looking at nature-based adaptation or nature-based solutions, protecting your infrastructure, so you know the importance of the Palisadoes Strip. And while there are hard engineering solutions to environmental issues, there are also a shift towards looking at how you're integrating the softer interventions, and that's how you do with your mangrove restoration projects or maintenance of your seagrass and coral reefs. So it's actually a lot of things that are happening this week. It's National Environmental Awareness Week this week. As you mentioned before, tomorrow it's actually World Environment Day. And also we're trying to coincide activities with the 20th anniversary celebration for NEPA. And today you actually have the launch of UN Decade of Ecosystems Restoration. So what it means is that there's a wider international campaign looking at restoring your various ecosystems. So it's not only your mangroves, it's your coral reefs, your seagrass, your terrestrial ecosystems, looking at integration interventions within your watersheds. And that is a global campaign. So we're trying to align a lot of our program activities in the coming years, looking at how we're going to intervene in our watersheds, intervene in our coastal areas to do some level of restoration. And the importance of that is always to be looking at safeguarding your natural environment.
Now you use a few technical phrases there that I'm thinking that our viewers will have a few questions. I think it was like soft initiatives you had said it was?
Soft intervention.
Soft intervention. So what is soft intervention?
So you know what hard engineering interventions would look like.
No, I don't actually.
It would be, even around us, we would have looked at putting on boulders to build your revetments to help with maintaining your road infrastructure or your coastline.
And those are hard intervention, you said?
Hard intervention.
And this is a soft intervention.
So looking at planting now,
so
looking at your
soft.
Natural resources, that would be using your soft intervention.
And then the hard one will be what?
Putting in your stones, building and using engineering techniques.
Oh, so it's more artificial. So then soft is more like it's your meshing with the environment.
And we're trying now, when you're doing that kind of building your coastal resilience, looking at integrating both hard and soft. Looking at using your natural environment to help in building your resilience.
Okay, no, I like that. I love the whole soft intervention because it's more natural.
Right.
And based on what you guys are doing out here, you know, based on I'm sure the geography students can talk more about erosion, wave action.
Exactly.
You know, how the waves will affect the palisadoes, erode the boulders we have there. And of course, the whole purpose of the mangroves is to protect that.
Mangrove trees are very important contributors to building your coastline resilience.
Nice.
So slowing down erosion.
Coastline resilience.
Right.
I like that.
So slowing down wave action so that it's not eating away at your coastline.
Awesome.
Your mangroves are very important. They contribute to that process. Just by the structure of the plant, the root system is very intertwined and intricate. So it builds up silts, it builds up material, right? And it helps to accrete your coastline.
Right.
And then to protect what they are already, it actually slows down wave action from coming in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now I like the fact that we as a nation or you as an organization, you're aligning this to a wider global objective, you know what I mean? And I think that the most important thing is that each person is playing a role in this. Now, can you just tell me what is NEPA's role in this?
So NEPA, as the environmental agency, we look at opportunities for conserving our environment, right? And this is one of the projects that we're looking to implement, and we're bringing in the expertise from UA to help us. So even though we have an environmental regulatory role, we partner with the persons who are on the ground.
Which is good.
We engage the researchers, we engage the NGOs who are working in the area, who knows the localized situation, who can help to inform the process to build out these projects.
Okay, I like that. And okay, so we're going to be now moving down to the mangroves itself. We're going to be speaking with one of the specialists. We're going to be speaking with one of the specialists a while ago, as Ms. Curtis was telling us about. So we're going to make our way over there just to give you guys a first-hand look as to the actual initiative, as to how they're planting it and how it looks. Okay, so thank you for joining us, guys. See you in a few. Making our way across to the mangroves itself. Hopefully nobody not gonna lick me. Give thanks. So you see the mangroves right over here. Not sure if you can see it. Come on over, walk with me, please. Do them at the camera boom and drop. If you drop, then you know, not be good at all. All right, so let's get a look of the mangroves itself. So as you can see, this is the restoration project that they have going on right here. And the fence that you're seeing is to prevent the garbage from actually reaching this part. And what that will do, that will choke out the mangrove and kill it. Now this is what has happened before in the past. Right, so this is what's important, to have these fences right here, and you see the first little seedlings. All right, so let's make our way down.
Mangrove is a protected area. Under the Act, it is protected and is an area that you have to protect and ensure that nothing is done to harm such species that will reside here and all of that. You're seeing it almost looks like a mini island, which is almost what a mangrove is. It protects the area.
Okay, so good morning again, guys. We're here with Mr. Camilo Trench. Right, he's here to talk to us about the mangroves that you're doing here. So Camilo, if you'd just like to just introduce yourself to our viewers, which organization you're a part of, and then just go into talking about the mangroves, what you're doing here.
Okay, Camilo Trench. I am the lecturer and academic coordinator for the University of the West Indies Discovery Bay Marine Laboratory. And today we are here in partnership with NEPA to do the replanting aspect of a mangrove restoration. Now, mangrove restoration is a lot more than just putting a plant in the ground. As you can see here, Kingston Palisados, mangroves will naturally regenerate unless there's an issue stopping them from regenerating. And the issue here in Kingston is what you call an urban mangrove. It has a lot of solid waste because of us.
Right.
So the more solid waste we generate, especially plastics, and we release it into the Kingston Harbour, it ends up here. It doesn't disappear, it goes somewhere. So a lot of it ends up here. The guys did a great job of cleaning up the coastline here, as you'd see solid waste here.
Right.
So the mangroves here are given a fighting chance by putting up a solid waste barrier.
Right.
By no means is this a cheap barrier, because it is 25-year rated plastic.
Oh, wow.
And the fence posts, even though you can't see, they are about 6 feet down in the ground.
Wow.
To keep it
6
stable,
feet.
yes.
Wow.
Okay.
So, if you, can you just give our viewers just a sight of it? Because as you said, this is not a cheap barrier.
No.
It's not a cheap. So this is a pretty expensive venture, then, correct?
Yeah, costly enough. But it's worth it because if you allow these mangroves to come up, then the Palisades will have another green space.
Right.
And mangroves have over 200 documented uses, including, if you look around, 200 documented uses, yes.
Wow.
In Jamaica, I'm not so sure how much we use because we have a lot of resources in Jamaica.
Right.
But people use it for food, people use it to feed their cattle, etc. People, of course, it's a nursery,
right.
Makes oxygen, sequesters carbon, filters solid waste as well as nutrients.
Right, right.
So you can go on and on about the functions of mangroves.
So then can we state that the mangroves it has an ecological benefit?
Lots of them.
But also an economic benefit as well.
Yes.
Because as you just said, there's over 200 uses, which basically means if we can farm this then on a mass scale, could we then thus turn it into a source of income for the country?
It is a source of income for the country.
Or it is?
Yes, it's just not a direct source of income. So for example, people use the mangroves to catch. It's a fishing ground.
Right.
You understand? People also use the dye to dye clothing and bags, etc. People also utilize the mangroves for growing bees, and they have a special type of mangrove honey.
Really?
And the list can go on
mangrove
and on.
Honey?
Yes. But as I said, in Jamaica, we don't use it a whole lot. The main use for mangrove areas in Jamaica, historically, it's changing a little bit now, is to really reclaim it, dump it, and build something on top of it.
Right.
So we're having a shift in terms of that department. It's not where we want to be, but I am happy to say in the last 10 or 15 years, and university has been a real part of that change.
Awesome.
We are transitioning to a net mangrove conservation instead of just destruction.
Right.
And now when somebody destroys mangroves, the public gets involved because the public recognizes the importance of mangrove. It's important for the guys who go crab bush. It's important for the people who go bird watching or bird hunting.
Right.
And the list can go on and on and on. We all appreciate mangroves in our own different ways.
Right. I like how you're showing that we all have to play our part because we all benefit from it, and the destruction of the mangroves will affect us.
Absolutely.
One way or the other, and it is almost a bit ironic because we are the ones who are destroying it by dumping waste into the harbor, and then from what I understand that this waste will thus choke the roots of the mangroves and thus kill them off, correct?
Not only the roots but also the seedlings. And my PhD study showed that plastic bags, no matter what density, whether it's a small amount or a large amount, it strangles and kills the seedlings.
Oh.
So even though the mangroves, so for example, that tree right there, this tree right here is about 4 or 5 years old. And when this produces babies, the seedlings will produce a couple of hundred seedlings in this stage. Right. When it produces the seedlings, when the seedlings drop on the ground, if the plastic bags or the bottles wrap around it, they don't get to germinate.
Okay.
So this parent will not get a chance to repopulate the area. So that is the importance of the solid waste barrier. It keeps the garbage out. And we have a monthly cleaning of the area. And this is one of the low garbage areas. The closer you go to downtown Kingston, etc., more gullies come out. So everybody should know that your plastic waste, you should want to reduce it. And even if you cannot reduce it, do not allow it to go. Don't teach your garbage to swim. That's something I always like to tell kids. Don't teach your garbage to swim.
I like that.
So keep your garbage in the landfill. It's better in the back of your yard. Even if we have to choose between burning and put the garbage in the sea, I would say burn it. Do not put it in the gully or the sea. It doesn't help anybody.
Or you can just do composting.
Or composting.
Composting, great. Can you talk to us a little bit more about the plant itself? We can probably get the camera a little bit closer. Which plant would you want to talk more about? Because you said this one was 4 years old, correct?
Yeah, these ones are maybe about 2 years. This is a rhizophora mangle, otherwise known as a red mangrove. And it's called red mangrove because if you should remove the bark, it's red on the inside. And one of the characteristics is that it has a prop roots. And as you can see, as they grow older and as the tide affects them, more prop roots come out. So that is important, what one of the importance of the mangrove. So areas along the coastline that have healthy, strong prop roots, they are also a wave break and a wind break. And studies have shown that mangroves in terms of protective value are in the millions of dollars, not just in Jamaica, all over the world. So they are the important barrier for the sea, for the shoreline.
Right. So then this should be global importance then.
It is of global importance, and there's an increase in terms of mangrove conservation in or awareness in the world, but the reality is we still have to strike a balance between development and conservation.
Right.
As I said, in Jamaica, we're not perfect, but we're improving. Compared to when I just started this work, we have definitely made a lot of improvements.
I like what you said about we need to strike the balance between development and maintaining the environment, because at the time we would want to implement policies that it might be economically beneficial for the country, but ecologically is not good.
No.
You know, so it's like we're trying to strike.
And eventually it's a vicious cycle, because let me give you an example of a mangrove area, which is, if you don't protect it, it's going to cost you money-wise.
Right.
Glistening waters, luminous lagoon in Falmouth. If you do not protect that as a mangrove ecosystem, then the bioluminescent dinoflagellates will no longer glisten there.
Oh.
And I don't know if you know it, but that area gets about 1,000 visitors per day in the high season.
Per day.
In the high season.
Right.
Maybe not now in COVID. But 1,000 visitors per day at $25 per head.
Do the maths.
That is $25,000 per day a murky little mangrove area in Jamaica is making. And no beautiful coral reef in Jamaica makes that amount of money per day.
Fantastic.
You didn't know that, did you?
No, I did not know
All
that.
right.
But then look at that though. If you look at how then it will spill over them, because then if you have tourists coming to see the glistening waters, they're probably going to stop and check the stallman or
have some fruit, have a
some
beer.
Food, so then you see how everything.
That's right. The busman brings them there, and this goes on and on. Yeah.
Right. All right. Okay. So thank you very much.
Yes, man.
Really appreciate it. We're looking to work with you some more. Mr. Reed, I think Mr. would like to say something.
Yes, man. In hearing all of this so far, that's okay. Well,
yes, man.
Yeah.
So,
you know,
hearing all of this so far, as it relates to the legal aspect now, because we understand that the practical and everything daily of the mangroves and its use.
Yes.
Legally, what do we have in place to ensure that this mangrove is protected? If you look around you, you realize that we're open. So people can just come on. But we have to protect this mangrove under the law. I mean, I know we have our Wildlife Act, we have the the Watershed Act. We have a whole host of laws in Jamaica to protect our flora and fauna.
Yes.
So what do we really have for the mangrove to ensure that this will be viable, and 10 years to come we may see more mangroves along this stretch?
Well, legally there are some deficits in terms of protection for plants. For example, I do not think that plants as an individual species in Jamaica are protected. They are protected in terms of trade and as an ecosystem.
Yes.
But there's nothing legally stopping somebody from cutting a mangrove tree. So you have a lot of work to do.
Exactly. That's exactly what I wanted to understand, and for our viewers to also understand that the practical importance of the mangrove, and that legally you should not be just coming and cutting the mangroves to try and recreate one in your backyard because you have a nice backyard and you want a mangrove because it looks nice. So I just wanted to know the legal ramifications, and as you've said, we know under the law does not speak specifically to trees, but it speaks to the ecosystem and to destroying of the ecosystem. And then you see it speaks to, as you've also said, the pollution. Miss Cameraman, camerawoman I should say, we can just take a quick step. Let me stay close to the mic. Quick look over here. Yes. So we know that the laws against pollution are quite active in our country. We try to ensure to uphold them in terms of, we have our international laws, we have various laws speaking to it, and NEPA is very active in it. If we look here, we can see just all of the pollution, that's all caused by man. People throwing their various packaging right here in the waters. So, at the over by your place, by Discovery Bay, the Marine Lab.
Yes.
I've heard talks, because as a lawyer, we can only do so much in terms of writing the laws, telling people not to throw their garbage, and they're prosecuted if they're caught throwing their garbage in the water. However, what is going on as it relates to helping this by, I heard at one point of using oysters.
Well, Oysters would be more beneficial for nutrient filtration. Oysters would not help with solid waste specifically. But mangroves are important nutrient filters.
Okay.
So they're very important nutrient filters.
And when you say nutrient filtrators, what exactly do you refer to?
Meaning, just like every plant, they require phosphate, and, well, phosphorus, nitrogen, other elements like these. So one of the big nutrient producers is man. So when we wash our clothes,
yes,
or when we use the toilet, there are nutrients in that. So essentially, mangroves are capable of absorbing that. Not all of it, and that is why some areas they might treat sewage and then they release into a mangrove area, and the mangrove areas do very well.
Okay.
If that nutrient is allowed to reach into the reef, very, very detrimental because the coral reefs cannot deal with it,
yeah,
but the mangroves can. So that is another important reason why we have to protect mangroves. But yes, there are some legal issues with plastics and so on that we certainly need to solve in Jamaica. There's a lot of lobbying. But apart from behavioral change, I think plastics, if you check the history of plastics only exist for convenience.
yes,
And they existed because persons could make a lot of money from it.
exactly.
Right? It's not that essential.
No.
I mean, for the generation who grew up and they don't know anything but plastic, they might feel as if they can live. They cannot live without plastic. But
Exactly.
when I was a boy, plastic bottles were not about. We used to drink from glass and paper and cans, and we were quite fine. And now we have microplastics in our...
supermarket to get paper bag.
That's right. And it's maybe trending back towards that right
Yes,
now, but
I
a lot
realize
more
that
needs to be done
exactly.
legally.
Exactly.
So to protect this mangrove, since this mangrove is affected by plastics, we can start by getting stricter laws in terms of solid waste generation and production.
Enforcement.
Enforcement as well.
Enforcement we have a problem with in this country. And on that note, I want to thank you very much for interviewing with us. We're here, as you know, on the Palisados. Mangrove being created, so as you drive past, take a look, stop, admire it, post, and make persons know of the ecological importance of this mangrove. With that, thank you very much for tuning in, and it was a pleasure. See you again.